Yo, everyone, welcome back to the channel. And before I begin anything, I want to say a very happy new year. Hope your 2025 is going as you've planned, and if not, hope it to get better. That being said, I'm really excited for today, and my excitement stems from what I have been working on tirelessly for the last few months, and it is a Chromium based extension that is going to save you a lot of time. And this is not a gimmick. It is something that I've worked on. I have tested it out. I've used it, and I've let a few friends of mine also test it out. And the difference between using this Chrome-based extension for your workflow and what they were using previously is significantly different. So your question might be, what am I actually talking about? I want to give you a sneak peek of a new Chrome-based extension called Compress.pics. And the name of this Chrome-based extension is also the URL. So if you do put into your browser Compress.pics, you are going to visit the website and you are going to see a form over there that you can join the wait list. Let's assume that you have downloaded the extension, and right now I am on Arch. And when it comes to Arch, this is how it looks like. There's a Chrome based browser. The extension is for Chrome based browsers at the moment. So for this Chrome based browser, you have something like Arch, you have a Vivaldi, you have Brave, you have Chrome itself, or you have Microsoft Edge. You can use this Chrome extension. So if the Chrome extension is installed, the first thing you want to do is open it in your current tab. So let's click on this. So this is how the UI looks like. And as I said, there is zero ads on this. Zero. There are no ads. And this is also has a free tier. And the free tier is on par with all the free tier websites and conversions out there. No ads. You go in, you convert your images, and you out. You don't need to input your credit card, nothing. Just start doing the stuff that you came to do, and then you're out of it. So first, let's go through the UI. So for the UI, the top part, it gives you the formats that you're going to deal with. So the formats are WebP, PNG, JPEG. And after the format part, you do have the other part that talks about actually optimizing the images. I call something presets. So presets are already made values that you can use when it comes to the compression. And for basic users, these are what you are going to use. You go from 100%, 85, 60, 45, 30%, 15%. So these is what basic users are going to use when it comes to compression. So you can use these, you can choose 15%. So the lower the size, the lower the file that you are going to get at the end. After that, you do have the upload section. You can drag and drop your images in here, or you can click on the select file for it to do that for you. And down here is where you manage your license. And for basic users, you don't need no license, you don't need nothing, you can just download it. For pro users, you click on this, then you can input your license key over here, and that is it. If you want to purchase it, you can also click on this to purchase a pro license. So let's close that. All right, let's test how the optimization actually works, right? There are a few things that we can still go through, but when we upload an image, I'll be able to show you more of that. So I'm going to click on select file, and in here we have a bunch of images. The first thing I want to test is some of the limitations when it comes to the basic plan. So I'm going to choose this image. This image is 14,000 by 8,000. So it is a huge image. I'm going to select that and click on open. So as I do that, I'm going to get this error over here, which says that file exceeds the limit of 10 megabit. And when you look here, it tells you that you do have a 10 megabit of file size per side, like of file size per file. So each file cannot be more than 10 megabit for basic users. And for pro users, you can have up to 100 megabit or file size that you can compress with Compress.pics. So that didn't work. Let's go and find a different file. So let's click on this. And as soon as we do that, this is a smaller size file, so we can actually work on that. But I think the size here is a bit too small. So I'm going to add another file. I think this should be a bit bigger. All right, so this is 1.8. Maybe let's add one more. All right, and this is 4.8. So this is pretty good. All right, so in here you do have your cards, your image cards that you can work with. And with this, there are a few things that you do see. You have a few more information about the dimension, the file size, the output that you're going to get, and the percentage that you are using. All right, from here, you do also have a pencil that you can click on to edit the name of the file. So let's call this one test, and then click on enter, and then you change the name of the file. And from there, you can also click on this to delete the file from your sidebar so that it is not converted. So that is that. After that, you might want to actually experience how the conversion is. So you can time it. I'm going to click on convert all, and then I'm going to wait for these files to convert. In a few seconds, the 4.8 megabit file has been converted to WebP and is ready for viewing. In here, when I click on the download, you are going to see the images that have been converted. And with that comes a few more things when it comes to the image card. A few things have been added. Over here, what you do have is the same naming. It tells you the dimension, and it also tells you the previous size, and it tells you the new size that you're getting. The same thing with this. And from here, you can download each file individually by clicking on this, or you can click on selected, so that you can select all the images and then click on download, or you can click on the delete to actually delete everything, which is pretty good. But there's one thing that I actually want to show you, which is really important. And that is you want to actually review the file that you have compressed. And to do that, you can just hover on the file. You'll see that there's an eye over here. Just click on that. When you click on that, it is going to produce a preview of the file. With this, you can zoom out to 25%. You can zoom in all the way to also 100%. Click on this to refresh it, to have something more like this. You can also tilt it if you do want, or rotate it, whatever way. And you can just click on this to also download it, and you can close it. So as I said from the beginning, this Chrome-based conversion optimization tool is a time saver, and the reason why I say it's a time saver is most of the time a lot of people do use plugins that compress image for you, which I have used before. I remember that I used to work at a fashion house, and I used to deal with like 3,000 images, 4,000 images. Every dress has like 3 or 4 images attached to it, and sometimes when you upload them to the web, it's a bit too huge. You want to compress it, and most of the time the images are already on the web, so you want to compress them by using the plugins, which is cool. But some of the plugins, the problem is that you don't know what you're getting. It compresses it, and what you see is what you have. You can do nothing with it. The reason why I made this is purposefully to help me to ensure that the images that I'm going to use on my website are high res, and they are also small sizes. And that is what I have done. Implementing this preview that I showed you, it gives you the ability to preview the file before you download them and before you go and use it on your own website. So when it comes to the basic users, this is what you get. And now I want to take you through what the pro users also get in addition to what they do have in the basic functionalities. So I'm going to add a license, and I will be back. So I have added my license and I am back, you can see that it says that your pro license is active, whatever. So we're going to go through a few more things. For pro users, you do have access to PNG conversion, which basic users didn't have. And also for pro users, you do have one feature that I absolutely love is adding more preset cards over here. If you remember, I was talking about basic users only do have these that they can click on, they can choose. But then if you are a pro user, you can click on edit to go into edit mode, and you can click on this and you can add your own preset cards. And all of these preset cards, regardless of whether you open or close your browser or the extension, they are going to persist for you to come back and use that. So I can close this, can right click and refresh the page, I can go back, click on here, and you can see that they still persist. If you do not want them, you can just delete them manually. You can also go back into the edit mode and you can edit them individually. So you can add a few more cards over here, and I think there's a limitation on it, but you can add a bit more cards in here, which is pretty damn good. All right, when we come back over here, I'm going to go back into the advanced, but I want to touch up on this. So over here, if you remember, for basic users, you only had 10 megabit per file that you can upload. For pro users, you have 100 megabit of file size. And I want to demonstrate that to you with that same image that we were trying to work on. Let's click on select file and let's select this file and click on open. I want to do that. I just want to open it. You can see that the file size is 49.6 megabit. Let's say we want to convert it for our website for WebP. All right, let's go back and then let's choose there's 15%. Let's make sure that we are not in edit mode. Let's choose 15%. And with that, we have 50%. And yeah, I'm going to click on convert all. We are going to see how long it's going to take for this to compress. And then we can also go and check it out. Few seconds. So in here, from 49.6 megabit to 515.8 kilobit. That is almost a 99% reduction in the size of the image. So that is that. And we can also preview it. Consider it is pretty damn a huge file, which is good. All right, I'm going to close that. And I want to go back in here and I want to go into the advanced mode. In the advanced mode, you have a lot more options that a basic user wouldn't have. And some of these options is you having control over even more granular control when it comes to the quality of the output that you are going to get. So you can change this one to any size that you do want, and you can also add more presets here if that is what you are looking for. Down below that is what I call output dimensions. And for output dimension, if you remember, we had an image that was pretty huge, as in dimension and as in also size. And we can do something about it. And one thing that we can do about it is to shrink it down. And I'm going to show you how to do that. So let's go back into convert and I'm going to click on upload this and let's upload the file again. It's going to take a bit of time to load up, but we do have this file over here for 14,000 for the width. We want to shrink it down to 1920. So 1920 is going to be the new size that we do want for any compression over here. After that, we are 72%. We want to change that. That is way too big. I'm going to go all the way down to like 15%. And then I'm going to click on convert all. Right, that was really faster than the previous one. So it's telling you have almost like 100% reduction in the size for 23.6 kilobyte. So when you click on this, you can see the size is pretty small and it has shrunk it even down for you. So that is pretty good when it comes to the reduction and also for the dimension. But we can even do more. So let's say for the maintain ratio, you only have to input one size. So if you input a size over here, it's going to go away because you need to maintain one size so that you can maintain the aspect ratio. All right, when we go into the fill is pretty different. With the fill, you are able to choose the size that you actually want. So let's say we do want a size of 1920 by 1920. When I click on select file, click on the image, and click on open. Let's go back into our convert, and then we can see it over here. So at 15%, we do want 19 by 20 by 19 by 20. I'm going to click on convert all and wait, and I'm going to convert it. And when I come down here, I do have a new image that is 1920 by 1920. But let's click on that. See, now we do have something that is more of a square, which is damn good. All right, so we can zoom it out so you can see that this is definitely a square. It's not a rectangle. So we do have a square, and it places it in the middle. So for pro users, you even have, as I said, you have more granular control over the size. You have more file size when it comes to uploading the file that you want to deal with. So that is for the preset and the advanced. There's one thing that is even better that I haven't shown you, and that is what I want to show you. Let's click on select files, and then let's choose this file. All right, you remember that you are able to choose your dimensions and stuff like that. If you don't want it, you can go in and remove them. And as you want, you can just go back into your preset, and then you can, let's say we choose 8%, right? Let's go back in here and then go into converting. So for converting in here, what we do have is we can choose the output that we want from here, or we can choose the output that we want directly within the image cards themselves. And what do I mean by that? With this, we do have this size, we do have this size too, and then we do have the format. When you click on this, you're able to cycle through the size, the format that are available to you, which is WebP, PNG, and then JPEG. Then you can click on this, and then you can also change it to something else. And what is even better is, let's say you do have multiple images, right? So for multiple images, you're even able to go in and change this to any size that you do want, depending on the image that you're working on. So that's the 20%. And you can change this on to, let's say, JPEG at 20%. So you do have more granular control when it comes to the output, especially for those that are in the pro version. So from here, we are going to click on convert all, and we are going to wait for the files to be converted. When we go into our download, we do have our files over here for 19%, 90%, 92%, and that is that. We can preview them by clicking on here to see how they look like. We can cycle through them and see if they are up to our satisfaction. There's a huge file, right? So I'm just going to remove this. It's just pretty too big. Pause. Okay, so that is that for the images that we do have. One more thing that I also want to show you that is pretty damn awesome is we're going to click on this, and we do have options over here. We do have something called rename, and for this it gives you the option to rename your files. And I hope that there was this when I was building more blocks, because the amount of time that I had to rename files manually by downloading them, reviewing them, and renaming them was a lot. If I had this, it would have changed, not just changed, it would have saved me time. And you remember I was talking about time? It would have saved me so much time. So I'm going to rename this, and I'm going to show you. So let's say test-image, right? And then what I do is going to tell you like the naming patterns that you are going to see right here. So let's click on apply. It renames it for you, which is pretty damn good. Pretty damn good. And even all of that, and there is a search bar for you to also search for images. So I'm going to do 004. It pulls up that image that for me. So if let's say we did have let's call this one cover image. All right, we can remove the search, and if I remember that I had an image called cover image, I can just search for that, and it's going to also show up. So for pro users, you do have a lot of things available to you when it comes to dealing with the Chrome extension. And for me, this has been a project that is dear to me because I use images all the time, when it comes to like working with things. Like I do use images everywhere, and if you build anything for the web, you are going to use images. So if you are into images just as much as I am into images, this is a tool that I do think that it is going to save you so much time. So that is Compress.pics, your new go-to tool for image optimization. And if you found this preview helpful, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, subscribe to this channel, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss any update. And of course, join the waitlist because you don't want to miss out on this product when it comes out. And I just want to say thank you for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.